What's up, fight fans? My name is Anik Subramanian, and I am the face of Energy TV. On February 15th at the UFC Apex, Conor the Controller Matthews takes on Jose Delgado in a featherweight fight. Today, I'm joined by a former Air Force combat controller and the pride of Massachusetts, Conor Matthews. So we're gonna promote and preview Conor's next fight, and then dive into some stories about him and his time serving in the Air Force. Connor, first of all, how's life been?
Life's been great, man. Definitely. I'm pretty happy and grateful to have this opportunity to fight in the UFC after a Air Force career as well. So, I'm living my dream right now, and a little bit getting here a little bit older. I'm 32. You know what I mean? Fighting the UFC, getting here when I'm in my 30s. But man, I feel like I still have a lot of fight in me, and it's been a ride.
For sure, man. And step one of your UFC ride was against Dennis Bazukia 10 months ago. It was a good fight, but you ended up losing. What specifically did you
Yep.
change in the last 10 months?
Specifically changing. I think the biggest thing in that fight camp, I had a rough fight camp for that bazooka fight. Just there was a lot of distractions. It was my first time fighting in the big stage. It was stuff. Um, just my first time being in the UFC. So I think that kind of got into my head a little bit, and it was just a performance for me. It wasn't my best performance. So that's the biggest thing. I mean, changing up training wise, I'm still with the New England Cartel, still training with my guys. I went back to some things that I was doing in the past, which with one of my striking coaches, Mike Avila. This guy, she's my first striking coach I grew up with, and when I used to train with him, he started to have a lot more power in my hands, and so I went back to him. I kind of reached back to that resource and been hitting with him. So, but I mean, that's the main thing. Other than that, though, I'm still with the same team and kind of have a pretty consistent team around me, and I've just gotten better in the last year. Main thing I would say also is I had knee surgery. I've been having knee issues for a while, and I kind of putting it off until I got to the UFC. So I finally got that surgery done, and now I'm feeling 100%, feel great.
I'm glad to hear you're 100%, man. Seems like you worked on a lot and went back to the basics. Another thing you did was you did some
Yep.
training in syndicate MMA in Vegas, I believe, with Aljo and Merab. I know you've been leveling up, but
Yeah.
not only are these two guys champions, they're super funny guys. Like, what have you guys done together in the
Yeah.
training room?
So Aljo is awesome. Merab Dennis Bazooka is obviously he's with those guys too. So I kind of got to train with both of them. We went actually the team because they're in when they were in New York at Longo's the cartel. We went down there and we trained down in New York with them as well. So I got to train with them a couple times. Pick Aljo's head a brain about his grappling and just he made an unbelievable grappler. So that was really cool. And yeah, those guys are just funny, super respectful. I mean, I really love Merab. Big Merab fan, man. He's just so funny all the time. Like, and he's just has a great time with it. He loves what he does, and very humble. So yeah, those guys are great dudes. And obviously, anytime I could get a chance to train with guys like that, you're gonna take the opportunity because world class, great fighters right there.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you guys are helping each other. Now that you mentioned they're funny guys, what's your funniest story between Merab and Aljo?
Funny story between our I didn't really have too many things that are like too funny within the gym, but I remember one thing I thought was really cool is like I got to train Marab and I figured like he's kind of a big deal, you know what I mean? I was just kind of an upcomer, so I didn't think he would like. We went to a karate combat that night, and I didn't expect him to like come up to me. He saw me at karate combat, and he came up to me and just like he said what's up, started talking to me, hanging out with me, and I was like, for me, I was like, I didn't expect him to come out here and actually start hanging out with me and talking to me. So another thing is Aljo's cool too. Aljo's like a regular person. Like he was like training. He's like, yeah, you guys want to get some drinks after this? And I'm like, dude, like we're gonna train at night too. He's like, yeah, let's go get some drinks. And then he's living life and having a good time and being a world class fighter. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
That's awesome, man. Aljo's found the balance with selling his Funk Harbor rum and being a champ.
Yeah,
He's those two are special. I love the bromance right there.
yeah.
And hey, maybe you guys
I
inspired
brought them
Bobby
to the
Whitaker. Yeah,
one day I did do with Aljo's. I invited them. So when I was out there this thing called MCon was a military convention. And so I invited some of the guys from the UFC. So Aljo and Bazooka and Nazim and Evan Elder. They came out to the range and we shot some guns out there in the range. So that's pretty cool too. Just kind of bring them into my world a little bit, and with all the special operations guys, and shot some guns with those kids.
That's awesome, man. So this was just like an event and you decided to just bring him there?
Yeah, yeah. So it was a military event that I was speaking at. Just kind of telling my whole life story about going from the military transitioning, and then we ran like a little grappling tournament at this MCon thing. So it was in Vegas. So I just reached out to some of the UFC fighters that I knew. I've talked to Evan Elder before, who's a super respectful, nice guy. Nazim, I've talked to them. So I just invited them all out to the range with me, and yeah, it was pretty fun because Evan Elder and Nazim fought each other, and then me and Bazooka fought each other. And hey, fuck it, let's shoot some guns together. So it's pretty funny.
Hey, that's the best thing to do post-fight, shoot guns. Maybe Robert Whitaker maybe Robert Whitaker and Israel Adesanya took some inspiration from you guys. Those two fought each other, and now they're besties. So look at that.
Yeah, man, there's nothing respect like for me for fighters. Like, yeah, there's gonna be some animosity going into the fight, just being competitive with people. So that's what it's. But after you guys, you have to get in there and you fight, and there's nothing really to hold on to after that, and so I have nothing respect for these guys, especially in the UFC. I realized going to the PI and going to Vegas is like a lot of the fighters have very, very similar mindsets, and they're all super humble and super respectful. So I've had nothing but good experiences, like anybody I met from the UFC.
That's awesome, man. It's a respect sport at the end of the day. So glad to hear. Now,
For sure.
for your fight with Jose Delgado, what's your prediction for the fight, and how do you see that going?
I think it has the potential for being a barn burner, man. I think he looks like a tough kid. It brings a lot of energy. I'm the same kind of way. Like, I don't put on boring fights. I put on pretty exciting fights. So a lot of potential for it to be a banger. I'm gonna work my game plan. Obviously, he looks like a fantastic kicker. He's got really good strikes, and he's got dangerous jiu-jitsu. So I got to be cognizant of all those things. And I think my best path to victory is just pressuring him and making it a dogfight. So that's what I'm gonna do. I get in his face and try to eat up all his space. Don't let him throw any kicks on me, and just freaking get in his face and just take him down as much possibly.
Fight of the night, maybe. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I like this. It's my first time being on the main card, which is pretty crazy. And for kicking off the main card, so Calvin's fighting after me, and Nazim's gonna be in that fight as well. So Billy Goff is another kid that was supposed to be on the card. I don't know what happened. I don't think he's on it anymore. But a lot of New England guys up there, so it's gonna be exciting, good night of fights, I think.
Important night for the East Coast, especially.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Yeah,
Now,
big East Coast night.
Yeah. Now, after your last fight, Conor McGregor had a nice laugh. He said there's only one Conor in the UFC. He ordered you to change your name to Matthews Connors. What was your reaction realizing you got recognized by Conor McGregor after your first UFC fight?
I thought it was really cool. I remember I was leaving. I was actually like walking out of this, or limping out of the stadium, and everybody's just texting me, "Yeah, Conor McGregor's tweeting at you." I didn't even think it was real at first. I was like, "That's crazy, no way." And yeah, so everybody's read me those text messages, and I thought it was really cool and really funny. Just honored that. I mean, I was a big Conor fan growing up. You know what I mean? So having him tweet at me is pretty awesome, and hopefully we can make that movie. He said something about us making a movie. I mean, that'd be nice to do a post-fight movie with Conor McGregor. That'd be really awesome.
I was going to say, you should do that. And hey, he's been big on the bare knuckle promoting. The best place to meet him is probably bare knuckle.
Yeah, there's some big bare knuckle fights coming up this weekend too. So yeah, that'd be really cool. Bare knuckle. I'm not doing bare knuckle. Fuck that.
I mean, as friends.
If it was MMA bare knuckle, I'd be open for that. Not straight boxing.
Fair enough. That's very understandable. Nah, you can meet him in the crowd, just hang out. He was lively in Philly, man. He was exactly how he sounds on the mic. Yeah. That's what he's like in person.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hope I get to meet him one day. I'm sure it'll happen. Eventually, we're going to cross paths.
Exactly. You guys got to do that meme, the Spider-Man meme, where you're pointing at each other, Conor meeting Conor.
Right. It's funny because I get it a lot. Like random people too. Like walk like, you know who you look like? The people before you know I'm a fighter. You look like Conor McGregor. I'm like, yeah, I get that a lot, but my name's Conor. I am a fighter, but not Conor McGregor. So yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Now, one cool thing he did, he actually recognized your work as a combat controller as well. So he was funny, but he gave you props for
Yeah.
some of the most important things you've done in your life, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. I agree. I thought that was good. And he was just, being cheeky, talking a little shit. I thought it was funny, just to recognize me. I was appreciative of it. So yeah, no, it's good. Actually, funny stories. One of my family friends was just down in the Capitol recently for the inauguration for Trump, and they were walking around the Capitol building, and I guess Conor McGregor was there. So he goes into like this part of the building the Senate's at, and Conor McGregor walked in. He goes to his buddy. He's like, "Oh, I want to try to get a picture with Conor McGregor." And then Conor McGregor, so his friend was like, "No, there's no way you're going to be able to do that." So he's like, "Screw it, I'm going to give it a shot." So he walks up to Conor. He goes, "Hey, Mr. McGregor," he's like, "I was just wondering if we have a mutual person we kind of might know. I was wondering if we could get a picture." He goes, "Oh yeah, who's that?" He goes, "Conor Matthew." He goes, Conor McGregor goes, "Oh, you know who Conor Matthew is?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, and the guy's like, "Oh," I was like, "Can we get a picture real quick?" And Conor's like, he's like, "Yo, since you know Conor Matthews," he's like, "Come with me." He brought him in the hallway. And they went down the hallway because they couldn't take pictures in that part of the building. And he took a picture with them. And Conor McGregor was like, "Tell Conor good luck on his fight coming up." So I thought that was really cool. Like, the guy actually knows I have a fight. He knows who I am. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm sure I'll get to meet him someday.
Dude, that's a great story, man. Thanks for sharing that one.
Yeah. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
man. So I'm gonna jump into something called Anything But MMA. It's a segment we do at Energy TV. It's something new, and we just want to learn more about your life outside of MMA. So you served 6 years in
Let's
the Air
go.
Force as a combat controller, right? Your role was centered
Yep.
around working as a source of communication from the air to the ground.
Yep.
Do you have any interesting stories from your time there?
Yeah, man. I mean, just first of all, the whole thing was really cool, really awesome experiences for me. I got to do a lot of cool things all over the world. Got to go to Southeast Asia. Obviously, I got to get deployed to Afghanistan to go do that and do that. So that's really cool experience for me. A lot of jumping out of planes, skydiving, Halo, high altitude, high opening, dive school. Um, all the I really liked that. I had a lot of good time in training actually to become a combat controller. It was actually, it was really challenging. It was like a 90% attrition rate. So like we started with like 120 people or so whatever it was. And we only ended up like, I think 6 or 7 of us actually like made it through. So thought that was really, it was cool to like really learn how to grind and just learn how to learn what I was made of. I don't think if I didn't do that portion of my life, I wouldn't be half the fighter that I am today. They say like iron sharpens iron. Like the guys I got surrounded by around in that community kind of made me who I am today. It taught me work ethic, taught me discipline, taught me just like kind of how to be a man. So I thought that that was really good portions of my life. And yeah, man. Story wise, man, I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen to me in freaking, I've had cutaways where my parachute didn't open up all the way. I had to reopen a new parachute. I had one portion I almost fell out of the back of an airplane. I've jumped out of helicopters. Done a lot of cool stuff within the military. So yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Wow, man, that's insane. And obviously these experiences probably pushed you till the end and really made you realize what you're made of. So I want to know, was there any moment in your training or even your 6 years there where you wanted to give up, but one of your, fellow members like helped push you through it?
Actually, yeah, there's been there's been portions of my training. So the academic portions for me were the hardest parts. So we had to become an air traffic controller, and going into the job, I had no idea what an air traffic controller was. So that was a really hard school for me, and I failed it like the first time. I remember like I failed like my first test, and then when you fail your academic test, you have to wash back. It's called to the next team that's coming through, and in the meantime, you're basically just get smoked every single day, which is like they bring you out, just destroy you until the next team. So it was like a couple months where I had to like wait till the next team came through. But anyways, I remember just being really down and being like, fuck, I don't know if this is for me. I failed the first test. Like maybe this is about, and my friend's just like, I remember one of my friends, Kuzma, he's just like, what are you going to do? Just quit? I was like, you know what I mean? Like it kind of gave me that talk. And I just like, yeah, that's right. It's not worth quitting. And then I end up passing. So there's been a couple times through the pipelines where I failed schools. I failed dive school the first time. So dive school, there's this test called one man's, and basically what they do is they bring you down under the water. They give you a dive mask that's blacked out so you can't see anything, and then the instructors come around and they thrash you around, and then they take your regulators and your hoses and they tie it up behind you, and they're like, I'm like, launch themselves off the wall into your stomach. Like they're like really kind of like beating you up down there, and you just gotta just sit there, take it, and then you'll feel the part where they're not messing with you, and then you have to untangle all of your stuff, get to your air source, take your breath, and then as soon as you take a breath off your air source, boom, they hit you again. And this goes on for like 15 minutes until you get to this point called the whammy knot. And the whammy knot's this thing where they tie a knot that you can't get undone. And then what you realize is you can't get it undone. You have to ditch your equipment, get to your air. And if you do that, you pass. So I failed that test for like procedures or whatever it was. So that was like a year and a half into the pipeline. So I had to wash back again to go through that again. I remember just like being really down and being like, oh man. But the one thing I could say is like all those moments I've had in my military career where it's like, you know, I worked my ass off to get this thing and I failed and I had to wash back and do all over again. It's made me a better person, made me a better fighter. And I kind of brought that to my mentality of fighting in the Contender Series, where my first time fighting, make it to the Contender Series, I worked my ass off, did everything I possibly could do, just get to that point to fight in the Contender Series. And I lost against Francis Marshall. And then like, there's no like saying, hey man, that's it. You're going to get another shot next year. Like, you don't know if you're going to get another shot. So, but I went back into the gym and just started grinding, working my ass off. And just by the chance of luck, I got onto Dana White's Looking for a Fight and won that fight. And then I thought I was going to get a contract after that. And they're like, nope, we're going to bring you back on the Contender Series again. So, and then I finally, fought for my third time in front of Dana, going on the Contender Series again for the second time. Just matched up against a 10-0 Brazilian guy that was like all first round finishes, killer, and I got the win. So I feel like those moments that I learned from the military about like when you think you failed, you didn't make it, but you just got to go back to the drawing board and work your ass off. It makes you a better, stronger person. I kind of applied that mentality to being a fighter, and it kind of paid off, and I'm fighting in the UFC. And it's kind of what I'm doing right now for my first UFC fight. Like, I didn't get my first UFC, didn't go my way, but my whole life has been like, you don't make it. Sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board, work your ass off, become a better, stronger person, and and go in there and just give it your all and try to get that win.
Wow, that's an inspirational story, and it shows that everything happens for a reason, and you're the king of bouncing back. So once you're done fighting, you should be a motivational speaker.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm always 2 times Matthews. I never get the first time. It always takes me 2 times to get it, unfortunately.
Hey, second time's the charm. If that's the case, then Jose Delgado better be ready, because Conor Matthews is coming.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm definitely coming, man. I've been super disciplined this fight camp. I've been fight camps, like since July, August. I knew I was going to get matched up for something pretty soon. So as soon as I got over my little knee surgery, I've been all in. I haven't had a sip of alcohol. I haven't had, I've been just locked in, just trying to get myself ready for this fight. So I'm coming in there being the best version of myself.
Well, I'm going to end it at that because I love that message. I wanted to ask you for your last message for your fans leading up to this important fight.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Man, I really put all my heart and soul into this fight camp. And so the way I look at it is no stone left unturned. Like, if I go in there and I just do everything I possibly can do, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Whatever happens. It's out of my control. I know I did everything I possibly could to every single night, every single day. Being a martial artist, being a fighter is really cool because it's really life encompassing. You can't just like do it sometimes. You literally have to do it all portions of your life. It has to be your sleep, it has to be your food, it has to be, your recovery, your training in the room. It's just like every part of your life you got to be disciplined on it, which is awesome. I love it. It really brings the best out of me. So, but I've definitely done that this fight camp. So I'm ready to go on February 15th.
Well, I look forward to it, man. Conor, thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. That was awesome.